Hi everyone, welcome back to another gameplay of Infinitode 2. So welcome to another analysis and instructional video that I hope is gonna help you guys to understand a bit more how the game works and how to progress more quickly on Endless. And now this video was suggested by me by a fellow player and YouTuber called Alex Vsol. I'm gonna link his channel in the description below so you guys can check him out. And he asked me this question like a couple of weeks ago. How much does beat the swap rate affect the legendary loot? Because this upgrade pretty much works in a sense that all the legendary loot that is collected from any of our gameplays is transformed into beat this. And the higher this level is, the more of that legendary loot is converted into beat this. But that also means that you are losing potential loot that you could instead that you need to get prestige tickets. For example, you're losing the tiles, you're losing platforms, you're losing sources, you're losing bases, portals, like everything that must be used on cast maps to collect prestige tickets. Because we all know that at the end of the day, the important thing, like in order to progress more quickly on Endless, it's not really important how many bidas you're earning, but how many prestige tickets you're earning to maximize loot frequency and to maximize loot rarity. And this was a very legit question, and actually it prompted me to do some tests. And I'm gonna show you guys now the results of these tests. I got loot frequency now level 100 here because I don't have the 20% coming from the start research, and therefore that's why I need this extra 20% to reach the cap at 1000. All right, and now I'm gonna show you guys here a table, right, that I have created that is pretty much summarizes different tasks that I've done. And you can see here the base stats from which I'm starting. So max endless research, double gain, not having the 20% loot frequency, and having 30% loot rarity from the overall research, loot and rarity tickets active, and then I used two different strategies depending on the short strategy or the FAK one depending on which task I was doing. And now it all started from this test right here when I had loot frequency level 100 and loot rarity level 77. So it's a pretty advanced situation already. Like when you have loot rarity level 77, you have loot frequency max, you're already getting most of the loot that it's like epic and the legendary, so you're getting a ton of items. And then I did here something trying to compare the going with beat disruptor level 50 and with beat disruptor level 0. And you can see that definitely the amount of BDDR decreases as you just reset this upgrade. It becomes a bit less than 4 times. And but the legendary loot increases. And you can see that it was a 1.7 thousand of difference from beat disruptor level 50 to beat disruptor level 0. Right, you can see it right there. Epic loot of course doesn't change because of the fact that legendary loot is only affected by beat this, so that's why epic was the same. I also listed here very rare, uncommon, green peppers, but this was just to show that there wasn't many differences from one run to another. And then I tried to calculate how much of that difference, in terms of legendary loot, how much it would affect the value in terms of map price, prestige dust, and eventually prestige tickets. Because as I said before, to be able to progress more quickly, right, you have to get more prestige tickets. And now here I noticed something very interesting: the fact that I actually placed on a cast map all the legendary loot that I had collected that was either platforms, road items, or sources, and that was the value I obtained, 4 million. And instead I sold for prestige dust all the portals, bases, also like the music tiles and all that stuff that that instead normally like you cannot really place more than a certain amount on your cast map, so very likely you're gonna end up selling them for prestige dust rather than like selling them for actual map price. So that's why I decided to do these little differences in how I would calculate. and you can see here the difference. So like going with BDDR level 0, so this difference of legendary loot equates to a roughly 120,000 prestige dust difference and a 1.2 million difference of map price. And now converting all of this into prestige tickets, these were the final numbers. So by resetting BDDR rate, so having a level 0 compared to level 50, I was able to gain 3.7 thousand more prestige tickets. Now this, guys, is just one run, alright? It's just one run on 6.3. And you can see the huge difference of prestige tickets. So based on this math, I was able to see that roughly, you know, the double amount of this difference of legendary loot, because remember that these differences are only because of legendary. Like epic is not touched, BDDR do not change map price, so this difference here that you see was only due to the difference here on the legendary loot. So I ended up like summarizing the findings here on this, you know, percentage level, that roughly like the double amount of the difference of the legendary loot between like BDDR drop level 50 and drop rate level 0 equates to the amount of prestige tickets earned of difference. So you can see here the difference, like the double of 1.7, it's 3.4k, right? And you can see the amount of prestige tickets I earned was 3.7. So I even like reduced it. It's actually a little bit higher, but I just try to minimize, you know, these differences to try to calculate as well the RNG. Like sometimes you're gonna be able to earn more with this, sometimes less. The legendary loot as well changes. So just trying to make it more simple and not really try to inflate the numbers, but to reduce them. So roughly double amount of this equates to the difference also in prestige tickets. And then what I did was very simply, I just tested different thresholds. So I tested here, still keeping low frequency maxed, but reducing drastically loot rarity. You can see now 20 only. And you can see these were the differences in terms of BDDR and in terms of legendary loot. And you can see here it was again more legendary loot coming by having BDDR drop level 0, and therefore this difference equates or would equate roughly to this amount of tickets of difference. And remember, this is just one game. Alright, so these tickets, these are the tickets, the extra tickets you would get from every single run on 6.3 you would do having BDDR drop level 50. Sorry, having BDDR drop rate level 0 compared to having it level 50. Alright. And I did also once a final run because I wanted to see, okay, what happens if loot frequency is not max, but it's like, for example, level 62, and also keeping loot rarity level 20, right? In that case, I used the FAK strategy, so placing the miner at 48 minutes until the very end, because when loot frequency is lower than level 80, the FAK strategy is always better. And you can see here the difference of BDDR and the difference of legendary loot. You can see that having a lot less loot frequency makes it that the difference on the actual legendary loot is not really that much. Yes, there is still a little bit of difference, but at the end of the day, it's not really that significant, and you end up losing like a lot more of BDDR compared to how many more prestige tickets you can earn. So based on all these findings, I was able to understand that like early on, as your loot frequency is not maxed, you can probably keep BDDR drop level 50. Like in case you have upgraded it using research tickets or using anything, you can definitely keep it level 50, you know, to maximize the amount of BDDR you can get from those early rounds. And remember, you need to maximize the 4 core upgrades to be able to farm 6.3 efficiently. That is the Infinite mining speed, right? Is the modifier mining speed, and then you have coins generation, and lastly is coins at the start. So these 4 upgrades here from your research are your core upgrades for 6.3. Like you have to max these 4 things as quickly as you can, because as soon as you do it, you're gonna be able to start getting a lot more value, right, from playing the map. Then after this, you have, for example, the Infinite max level, so how many levels you can upgrade Inferior. And then let's not forget about Splash, the fact that you need to upgrade a little bit the stats of Splash, for example, a bit the damage, attack speed, the projectile count, range, projectile speed, you know, all that, to be able to cope with the fact that you're going to be generating more enemies, so you're going to have to deal with more enemies. And so yeah, these, I would say that these, you know, are the core upgrades for 6.3, but it's especially the first 4, you know, those are the ones you're going to maximize first. So like, as your loot frequency is not maxed, definitely like keeping BDDR drop rate level 50 seems to have the best outcome here, because like the actual tickets you will get more having it level 0 are not really that significantly more, but then as you reach the maximum loot frequency, then it becomes very, very obvious that the difference of prestige tickets you will get from the loot is a lot more. And I think that this is a stage, like once you max loot frequency, you wanna reset BDDR drop rate. Like you wanna literally reset it, leave it at level 0, maximize. In this case, at that stage, once you have your loot frequency max, you should have already maxed these 4 upgrades. You should have your Splash like level 20, 25 for each upgrade, and that should already be enough, right, to do the short strategy pretty efficiently. So you don't really need to max all the damage from Splash or to get a bunch of other towers or upgrades. And therefore at this stage I would recommend you to like reset BDDR drop rate to level 0. You can use, like if we go back to the game, right, you can use all those tickets that you end up using, all the resources you ended up using on BDDR drop rate, you can actually use it to maybe get some other upgrades, for example, some more of the general stats, like for damage, to maybe upgrade Splash a bit more, like the abilities especially. You can just use, you know, these resources that you got or the research tickets to get other upgrades. So you reset it, and then as you can see from the tests, you're gonna be able to gain for each run of 6.3. You're gonna be able to get more tickets, and therefore that means that you're gonna be able to max loot rarity much more quickly, because you're gonna get from each level, from each time you play 6.3, you're gonna be able to get more tickets. And so, well, more upgrades for loot rarity, and so just being able to reach level 100 faster. I haven't even tested the 100-100 run, so what happens when your loot rarity is maxed, because the difference is even higher. Like you can see here, level 77, it was 3.7 thousand tickets each run. Like when you go past level 87, that is where you start earning only legendary loot. You get pretty much a difference of like 4.5 thousand, maybe even higher, I'm not sure. But yeah, like the higher your loot rarity level is, the more, like the greater the difference is if you have your BDDR drop rate level 0 compared to having it maxed. So yeah, that was it, guys. So I hope, you know, this test was and will be useful for many of you to, once again, try to progress a bit more quickly and try to max these top grades, you know, as fast as possible. And then, you know, once you max these top grades, you're gonna be able to get so many BDDRs regardless. You're gonna be able to, once again, max BDDR drop rate, and then you can just max everything else from the research. And yeah, that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and see ya. Bye bye.